Hi, I'm Jeff Miller, TD 13167 with the 501st Legion. The following videos are meant to be a brief introduction into the various parts of Sandtrooper armor, along with a few comments and tips. I hope you enjoy the videos and don't forget to subscribe. Okay guys, welcome back to another video about my Sandtrooper armor. Today we're going to go over some of the miscellaneous and soft parts. I'll tell you my opinion on some of these things, also discuss slightly what gets approved as part of the CRL, the Costume Reference Library. You should also ask for advice in the forums before you make any purchases, because a lot of this can affect if you get approved for 501st or not. So the first thing we're going to talk about is my neck seal. This obviously goes around your neck. This is the front of the seal. Mine Velcros in the back. So opened, it looks like this. I think this was made by Darman. I'm not real sure. This is all fabric. This is kind of a lycra material, so it breathes really well. This is a standard fabric. There is some that look a lot more screen accurate. That is almost like a glossy plastic, almost like a vinyl. But I would assume that those are going to be really, really hot. And to tell you the truth, the way my armor sits and the way my helmet sits, once I've got my backpack and my pauldron and everything on, you can barely see this neck seal at all. The only thing I think this does really good for me is that if I've got people that are shorter than me standing up underneath me, if they can see up underneath my helmet, this kind of maintains the illusion and completes the costume right there, so they don't just see bare skin up underneath the helmet. But I've been really happy with this one. It's got a lot of mileage on it. I've had this for several years. Next thing is your Under Armour, I guess. Some people have these full-length bodysuits that they do. I prefer just to use Under Armour style. I guess it's lycra, I'm not real sure, but yeah, this is all polyester and spandex. So it's basically a spandex undersuit. Same thing you work out with, compression pants, compression shirts. This one's made by Starter. This is the set that's clean right now. I just trooped recently, so the set that's dirty is my Under Armour set. The key thing on these, as far as a Sandtrooper, is you want to look at the seams and make sure that the seams are all black. Some of these will have like a white stitching or a different colored stitching nowadays, and if they have any logos or anything outside, the logo on this one's actually in the collar, so you can't see it, but if it's got anything on the chest, like my Under Armour I think has something right here. Now you can't see that once I've got my armor on, but sometimes the ends of the sleeves or things that maybe around the elbows will have something on it. What I've done in the past is just gone around those with if I can't remove them somehow, I go on it with a black Sharpie and I'll just color those out so they don't stand out, anything that's reflective. So that's the shirt. The pants is right here. That's the same way. These are Starter also. This one here, depending on if I take a step, you can actually see this, and this is a reflective thing. Kind of like if you were jogging at night, this does reflect. So I have taken a Sharpie several times and colored this out just to maintain the illusion of what's going on. Again, look at the stitching. It's all black stitching on black fabric. And avoid any patterns or anything. Sometimes they will cut these to where they have like some odd shapes and stuff like that. Just try and do the standard stuff where the seams down the sides, and it shouldn't really draw attention to itself. In addition to that, this isn't part of the CRL, but you're going to want to have a good thick pair of socks. If you're going to be walking around in this armor for a long time, you're going to want to be comfortable. And I don't know about most of the guys' boots, but my boots are not extremely comfortable, especially after I've walked a few miles in them at a charity event or a baseball game or something like that. So have a good pair of socks. And gloves. So these gloves technically are not approvable. These are the incorrect gloves, but my good gloves tore, and I was in a bind for a troop that I was doing for a cancer walk. So I already had a set of black gloves, so I just moved my flexible hand plates over to these, and I've got to get out and actually buy some black gloves that meet the CRL requirements. These do not meet CRL requirements because they have this Velcro closure that is not standard, and they have this gray pattern on the back of them. So it's best just to go ahead and get some gloves that are going to work. Now on the gloves are the hand plates. A lot of times when you order your armor, it's going to be vacuum formed hand plates, and a lot of guys just assemble a Velcro strap that comes underneath it. So you could have your glove on if you're going to use the standard vacuum formed plates, and then you've got a Velcro band that would probably come around this way. I think is the way a lot of these guys put this together. I actually E6000 these to the back of my gloves. The E6000 is pretty forgiving, and this is a good flexible material. In fact, you can see it's peeling off a little bit, and it's going to do that on, if you glue them down, probably any set of gloves you glue them to, this is eventually going to peel up, because what you're doing as you're shaking hands and holding your gun and things like that, this gets a lot of flex, and while E6000 is pretty forgiving and flexible, it's still going to end up peeling up, so you'll constantly be maintaining this. And what I end up doing is I put more E6000 here, I grab a couple of magnets or something like that, put the magnet down and hold it in place while it cures. So that's my gloves, although you should get some that actually match the CRO. I'll be picking some of those up next week. Sandtroopers have pouches, and if you're like me, you're going to realize that at some point you're going to start to run out of money. And a lot of these things, like these pouches and things like that, can get pretty pricey. I don't know what they were running. I think at the time when I built my suit years and years ago, I think it was over $100 for a set of pouches, with leather pouches. So I've actually found a guy online that had a pattern to make your own pouches, and of course I didn't have anything that would sew leather, so if you haven't figured this out already, this is craft foam. And he had a full pattern, and he went through a full tutorial on how to build these pouches out of craft foam. I followed that, and my intent was that these were just going to be temporary. But amazingly, I think I've had these ever since I got approved, and they might show up a little bit weird on the camera, but in person they look just like leather. In fact, when I tell people, the other guys in the 501st, that these are craft foam, they can't believe it until I actually hand it to them. So this has got a pattern. I will try and find the guy's webpage that did the pattern and everything for these and the instructions, and if I can find it, it'll be in the description below. But basically this is craft foam. I cut it out from the pattern on this guy's page. This is a loop of Velcro, and again, that's just E6000. This width is the width of my belt, and these, you can find them at craft stores. Pouches do unbutton and everything, and this is the same thing that would be on the leather pouch. Inside is styrofoam, so I don't know if you can see down in there, but inside one of these is a styrofoam block that I cut and trimmed to match. As far as where it looks like there's stitching, I used a fork. I don't know if you can see that or not. This is basically fork marks, where I took a fork to create the illusion of stitching down the side. And then of course all the Stormtroopers or Sandtrooper stuff is weathered, so I came back and weathered these, and you can't tell the difference, and they're both built the same exact way. Last but not least is my pauldron. I went with the orange one. I just thought it looked better with the costume. It was kind of what I remembered as a kid. A little bit of trivia on these. This was basically a chest protector for, I think, BMX or motocross back in the 70s. So times have really changed now for as far as safety. But this one is built and sewn the same way the originals are. It's got a strap right here that actually goes up underneath your arm once you put it on. This part goes around your neck. It's got a double snap on it. And I weathered and aged this one just the same way I did the rest of them. All the weathering and aging I'll talk about in another video. And that's it for the soft goods. Okay, so put any questions down below and I'll try and answer them. Also, the description or the link for the pouches, if I can find that, will be below. And subscribe and learn more about my Sandtrooper armor. Thanks.